So I wanted to, or at least I had the urge to jump on here because of this experience I just had. And I have been getting a few texts and stuff of how are you? How are you doing? How's your injury going? This, that, and the other. And I haven't answered everyone back. I'm sorry. But I just felt also this was the easiest way to answer everyone's questions. So, getting to the point, I think most people know that I suffered an injury back in, I think, July. I was lifting weights too heavy, too long, and the next day I woke up with a stabbing pain as I breathed coming through my chest. And then every time I had movement associated with that area, a lot of it was when I was dancing. It would hurt, obviously, and it would flare up. I was getting massages, it was getting better, but then I danced and then it flared up more and it just wasn't getting better. I had at the time right when it happened, I saw my regular doctor when I had one at the time. He really didn't give a shit, to be honest. He's like, "You already taken this painkillers? We can do an x-ray later if it's still not better." I really didn't think I needed an x-ray, so I moved on. I then saw a physical therapist slash chiropractor, and I thought I had my answer. He said, "Oh, it looks like you have a fixated back or a locked into place back." And I was like, "Okay." He said, "And you should be better in 12 weeks. Do these physical therapy exercises, and if not, then we can look into the whole herniated disc situation." So it was creeping to that time. It'd been like 2 months. I'd stopped dancing because I knew that wasn't going to help at all. I thought I was going to be better earlier rather than later. And then I started getting scared because I felt like it just kind of plateaued. So I started looking into specialists, seeing a different doctor, finding out what the heck an orthopedist was, and that's who I apparently needed to see. Finding out that they cost $300 and up without insurance because I didn't have an insurance anymore. And I eventually made an appointment with a really good one, but it wasn't going to be till like a month later practically. So then I was trying to find ways of how could I possibly see one maybe that I could do it for cheaper, or what could I do. Eventually I did find a way, and I guess some people would say it's a little crazy, but it's really not. Like, plenty of people do it, whatever, but maybe I just didn't get a good case. So now I'm going to tell you my experience. So I went to go see a orthopedic specialist, this first one that was cheaper, and I told him what was going on with me, and I got an MRI done, I got an x-ray done, and everything that was cheaper, just to have everything ready so I could just get this over with, so I could start healing. The worst news I thought I was going to hear was, "You have a herniated disc, you might have to have surgery." So I went in there, expecting to be in and out, get my diagnosis, then go have a good time with my friend that came with me. And we went into his office and he said, "You have a lesion." And I was like, "What?" And he's like a tumor. And you need to get a CT scan done so we can further look into it and, know exactly what it is. A lot of, and it was like, he's saying the whole cause of everything, even though I feel the most pain right here, and I can feel it right now, it feels uncomfortable, was right here, this bone. And he says that's where the lesion is. And a lot of these cases, they can be benign, but won't find out until you do the CT scan. And I was asking him a bunch of questions because when I heard that, I was just like, nah, that doesn't make any sense, right? And there was one question in particular he just really could not answer for me to have things make sense. So even though I told maybe 4 people about what he said, and they're like, "No, that's ridiculous, that doesn't make any sense, you're not dying." After that, I definitely wanted to see the more expensive doctor, so I kept that appointment. And it was gonna be 2 weeks out. So I had 2 weeks of thinking, as soon as he told me that, my heart just, it just like sunk. I immediately wanted to burst into tears. But my friend that I wasn't like really close with was there. And also he, couldn't definitively tell me for sure that this is what I actually had. So I couldn't like break down. I just had to get information. So the whole time up until this 2 week time, I was thinking, I have cancer, I have a tumor. What am I going to do? How am I going to tell my parents? I didn't tell them automatically because I didn't want to worry them over nothing, because I know that they would. And I was thinking, what am I going to do with my life? All these what ifs started popping in my head, making me go crazy. How could I stay calm during this whole time, until I found out from this more reputable, expensive ass doctor what was going on with me, to get that second opinion of being sure if this guy is right or if it's something else or if the other guy was right. During that time, I definitely became okay with death. But finally, I had my appointment. I was like, all right, hopefully he'll give me good news. I told the doctor everything from A to Z of what I did to try to heal myself up until that point. I didn't tell him about what the other doctor said, because I wanted to see his own conclusion first before I gave him that. I didn't want to put any other kind of information in his head that might not have been necessary. So he looked at me after I had told him everything, and he has had this himself. He explained it very well. I believe him. I hope this really is, my diagnosis. This is the conclusion. He said that I have slipped rib syndrome, which is exactly what it sounds like. My ribs, my lower floating ribs, I guess, on my right side, instead of being here, it just went there. It just slipped out of place. And he said, a lot of people like you that are hypermobile, this can happen to you because the cartilage or the joints and ligaments or what have you are weak. So he gave me 4 to 6 weeks of physical therapy, again, to work on core strength, and that is supposed to put my rib back into place if it's all stronger. And I'm hoping he's right. That also means that for the rest of this year, I will not be able, unless they say otherwise, to dance for the rest of this year, which sucks, but sacrifices need to be made. And then I told him what the other doctor said, and he grabbed the x-rays again. He really looked at them and everything, and he said, "Hun, I really don't see anything. If you're really concerned, we can get better x-rays and this, that, and the other to check later on, but I really don't see anything that you have to be worried about." And, I believed him. And once my insurance gets into effect, I'll check again, make sure I'm not dying for sure. But for now, that's what he told me. And hopefully he's right. Hopefully I've been able to say everything that's been going on with me to answer that "how are you, how's your injury" question that I just felt would be easier than sending a long text message to everyone or having to repeat myself this long story over and over again, and I just got tired of doing it. So if you have any questions for me, let me know. If you want to hang out with me outside of dancing or whatever, let me know. This is my update. This is how I'm doing. And I'll talk to you later.